Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, reaching for your phone, and realizing nothing loads. Not your messages, not your email, not even the weather. And at first it feels like a minor inconvenience, the kind you fix by restarting your router. But within minutes you begin to understand that this is something much larger. Because the internet is not just down for you, it is gone for everyone. Within the first hour, communication begins to fracture in ways most people never experience because messaging platforms, email systems, and cloud-based tools all depend on internet infrastructure, meaning that billions of people suddenly lose their primary method of connection. And while phone calls may still function in some areas, modern telecom systems themselves rely heavily on internet protocols, causing networks to become overloaded almost immediately. At the same time, something far more critical begins to unfold quietly, because financial systems across the world depend on constant data synchronization, and without the internet, digital payments stall, credit card transactions fail, and even ATMs in many regions stop working properly since they rely on real-time banking networks, which means that within a few hours, people are not just disconnected, they are unable to access their own money. By the third hour, transportation systems begin to feel the impact because modern aviation depends on satellite data, weather updates, and continuous communication with ground systems that are partially internet-supported. And while planes will not immediately fall from the sky, delays, rerouting, and safety concerns begin to accumulate, while shipping logistics and delivery networks slow down as tracking systems fail and coordination breaks down. Here is where the hidden science becomes more unsettling, because the internet is not a single system, but a vast network of undersea cables, data centers, and routing systems that allow information to move globally in milliseconds. And when that system disappears, it is not just websites that vanish, but the invisible coordination layer that keeps modern society synchronized. As the day progresses, the effects become more personal and more psychological because people begin to experience something unfamiliar, a complete absence of instant information. And studies on digital dependency show that even short-term disconnection can increase stress and anxiety, not because the internet itself is essential to survival, but because modern life has been structured around its constant presence. Meanwhile, emergency services face unexpected challenges, since while core systems often have redundancies, data sharing, mapping, and coordination tools become less efficient, slowing response times in subtle but important ways. Hospitals, which rely on digital records and cloud-based systems, may shift to backup procedures, but the sudden disruption forces a level of manual operation that many systems are no longer optimized for. By the 12th hour, the global economy begins to feel measurable strain because stock markets rely on real-time data flow, international trade depends on digital coordination, and countless businesses, from small online sellers to large corporations, find themselves unable to operate normally, revealing how deeply economic activity is tied to uninterrupted connectivity. What makes this especially striking is that the physical world has not changed. Roads still exist, buildings still stand, and people are still capable of working. Yet without the digital layer that connects everything, efficiency collapses. And then comes the most unexpected realization, because after nearly a full day without the internet, people begin to adapt in small ways. Face-to-face conversations increase, offline systems regain importance, and the world becomes quieter in a way that feels both uncomfortable and strangely human. Yet at the same time, the scale of disruption makes one thing clear. Modern civilization is not just supported by the internet, it is synchronized by it. So when we imagine the internet disappearing for just 24 hours, the real impact is not the loss of entertainment or convenience, but the sudden exposure of how much of our world depends on invisible systems working perfectly in the background, and how quickly things begin to unravel when that connection is removed. If you find this kind of hidden science behind everyday systems interesting, consider subscribing and sharing, because understanding how our world really works is the first step to seeing how fragile and how remarkable it truly is.